What's good, y'all? It's that boy, Easy Millions, and I'm your host of That Boy ETV. You already know, man, we are back on Marvel Rivals, and as our update is around the corner, aka tomorrow, we did get a first look at our patch notes, and I'm here to bring those to you, baby. So let's get right into it. First, we got Captain America, and they say Steve will receive some enhanced survivability, allowing for more frequent entering and exiting of combat. They reduced the delay time for shield restoration after releasing Living Legend from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. They reduced Liberty Rush cooldown from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. They increased base health from 650 to 675. They reduced the energy cost for releasing Freedom Charge, or his ultimate ability, from 3400 to 3100. Reduced the additional health provided per second to self after releasing it from 110 to 100. And from Doctor Strange, we'll be reducing the threat range and increasing the defensive window of the Sorcerer Supreme. They add damage falloff to Maelstrom of Madness and Gamma Maelstrom, starting at 5 meters and reducing to 70% at 8 meters. They slightly decrease the shield value recovery rate after releasing Shield of the Seraphim from 80 seconds to 70 seconds, man. Now we're on to Thor. For Thor, the God of Thunder could use some slightly increased survivability and improve the success rate to his ultimate ability. So for Thor, they increased base health from 500 to 525, and they added immunity to control effects during God of Thunder. For Hulk, Dr. Banner has been dominant, but some decreased sustained combat capability upon entering the battlefield will bring him more in line with other Vanguards. So for Hulk, they just reduced the indestructible guard gamma shield value for Hero Hulk from 250 to 200, man. Now we're on to Venom. With increased survivability and the threat of his ultimate ability, the symbiote menace will strike fear into the back lines of all enemy teams. They increased the symbiotic resilience bonus health ratio gain per lost health point from 1 to 1.2, and they increased the base damage of Feast of the Abyss from 40 to 50, man. So right there, some big buffs to Venom, man. We're probably going to see a whole bunch of him coming up soon, man. Now we're on to Black Panther. We're slightly decreasing T'Challa's combat survivability, and they reduce the additional health provided to self after refreshing Vibranium marks with Spirit Ren from 40 to 30, and the upper limit of additional health provided from 120 to 75. This is great because I had a Black Panther coming through and wreck my shop, and with him being able to gain health and all his movement, it's just kind of crazy. Now, we're on the Black Widow. Natasha was very much in need of optimization when evaluating the release experience of her abilities, as well as a slightly increase to the threat of her ultimate ability. So they increased the range of the first effect of Edge Dancer from 3 meter radius to a 5 meter radius. They reduced the time required for Fleet Foot to recover from 0 stamina to full from 12 seconds to 4. And they reduced the time required for Electroplasma Explosion to reach maximum power from 1 second to 0.6 seconds, man. Looks like big buffs for Black Widow. Hopefully this makes her more useful, especially with Hawkeye being a thing. So let's see what they do with him. Now we're talking about Hawkeye. We'll be decreasing the medium long-range damage capability, reducing the threatening combat radius, and slightly improving the close combat resistance for the Avenging Archer. They slightly reduced the spread angle between every 2 blast arrows. They reduced the triggering distance of passive ability Archer Focus from 60 meters to 40 meters, reduced the maximum additional damage of passive from 80 to 70, man. So right there, with the changes to Hawkeye, I don't really feel like people will still pick Black Widow over him. Still think Hawkeye will still be dominant over the two. Now we're talking about Hela. The Goddess of Death has been a menace and will be slightly decreasing her combat strength. And with her, they just reduced her base health from 275 to 250. So nothing real serious there with Hela, just a slight health nerf. Now for Magik. The Queen of Limbo needed an increase to her threat after unleashing her ultimate ability. So they increased the umbral incursion damage in Darkchild from 115 to 135. For Moon Knight, the Hand of Khonshu will receive a slight increase to the threat of his ultimate ability. They increased the number of talents generated by Hand of Khonshu from 10 to 14, and they increased the explosion radius of each talent from 4 to 5 meters. So Moon Knight actually getting a boost to his ultimate, which is actually kind of crazy, because I already think he puts out a whole bunch of damage, but this will only make him that much better. Now for Namor, we're optimizing the throwing field of Namor's eggs, and they adjust the throwing field of Monstro Spawn and Frozen Spawn. Now Namor can more accurately throw them to the desired location. This is very good for Namor and placement of his turrets, so I'm definitely going to have to try him out with that. Now for Psylocke, we'll be providing more options for her other heroes to counter the Demon Slayer's ultimate. Now Dance of the Butterfly will check for barriers, including Magneto's Metal Bulwark, Hulk's Indestructible Guard, etc. The Punisher will slightly increase the damage capability of Frank's weapons, slightly reduce the spread of Deliverance and Adjudication. For Scarlet Witch, we're increasing Wanda's combat strength when she's facing Duelists or Strategists. They increased Chaos Control's fixed damage from 50 seconds to 60 a second. They reduced the percentage damage per second from 5% to 3%. And they increased Sithonion's burst projectile damage from 30 to 35. So Scarlet Witch over here getting a whole bunch of buffs, which is kind of crazy because I thought she was pretty good. But hey, we're moving on, and we're talking about Storm. The Weather Witch needed an overall increase to her damage capability. We're also optimizing the feel of her left click projectile and the release experience of her ultimate ability. They increased Wind Blade projectile speed from 100 meters seconds to 150 meters a second, and the left click damage from 50 to 55. This is really good because I thought her Wind Blade already moved slow, so the increased speed is definitely needed. They increased Bolt Rush damage from 70 to 80. I did talk about Bolt Rush, but they didn't replace it. They just made it stronger. And also releasing Omega Hurricane. The bonus health provided for herself will be increased from 350 to 450. Moreover, following its conclusion, the extra health will no longer vanish instantly, but will instead diminish at a rate of 100 per second. Now, this is very, very big for Storm. I think Storm is really getting a lot of buffs here. She sounds great. I'm definitely going to try to play her a little bit more and see if maybe it's just a lot easier to get damage with her now. Now, we're on the Squirrel Girl. We're increasing the threat of Doran and her furry friends in their ultimate ability. Addition of a new effect to the unbeatable Squirrel Tsunami. The squirrels will now rush towards the nearest enemy after bouncing instead of bouncing randomly. They reduce the Squirrel Tsunami health from 600 to 300, man. So this should make her ultimate a little bit more useful because a lot of times it just seems like it's just running around, and she gets it so often that it's just kind of like, what the hell is she doing? But hopefully this does make her ultimate ability a little bit more useful. Now, for Winter Soldier, we'll be adjusting Bucky by decreasing his long-range combat strength and increasing his survivability in medium close-range combat. They increased the bonus health provided by Bionic Hook and Tainted Voltage from 30 to 40. They increased Wolverine projectile damage from 70 to 75. They reduced the area damage from 70 to 65 and reduced damage decay from 65% at 40 meters to 60%. They increased base health from 250 to 275. So Winter Soldier getting some buffs. It's kind of crazy because he's already pretty good. But hey, now we're on to Wolverine, and I can't wait to see this because I said in my video he needed buffs. So let's see what they're doing. Logan will receive an increase to basic combat strength, but a slight decrease to the additional survivability after activating Undying Animal. So with this, they give him an increased base health from 300 to 350, and they reduce the damage reduction ratio provided by Undying Animal from 50% to 40%. Well, this is like a nerf and a buff at the same time. They did give him more increased base health, but they did actually reduce his Undying Animal. Now, in my opinion, if you're going to take away some of his damage reduction, they should have gave him a movement boost in replace of that. Like maybe since they want to take away 10% from damage reduction, give him the 40% damage reduction and the 10% movement boost. This way, he's actually playing more like he's in a feral rage, which is more in line with his comic book self. But let's go ahead and keep it moving here, as we're now on to Cloak and Dagger. Ty and Tandy will receive an increase to their healing capability as well as an expansion to their coverage area of their ultimate ability. They reduce Dagger Storm cooldown from 15 seconds to 12 seconds. They increase the number of dashes in Eternal Bond from 3 to 4, man. So some buffs right there for Cloak and Dagger. My homeboy uses them, so I'm going to have to see how he feels about that. Now we're on to Jeff the Land Shark. We'll be adjusting the range for his ultimate ability so it now better fits the warning marker. In addition, we'll also be increasing his healing capability. Adjust is Jeff's range from a 10-meter sphere to a 10-meter radius. 5-meter high cylindrical spell field. Increase the healing of Joyful Splash from 140 a second to 150 a second. Now it's crazy because I just did a breakdown for Jeff and I was saying his Joyful Splash is a little underwhelming sometimes with his healing, but I'm glad that they increased it here just to make it a little bit more effective. Now we're on to Luna Snow, and while we've enjoyed the dropping the base, we've made adjustment to Luna Snow's ultimate ability to prevent players from using its healing capabilities. They increase the interval for switching between healing and damage in Fate of Both Worlds from 0.1 seconds to 0.5 seconds. For Mantis, we'll be making Mantis a bit less fleet-footed, reducing her roaming support capability. They reduce Nature's Favor, her passive movement ability, movement boost from 2.5 meters a second to 1.5 meters a second. This is kind of bad in my opinion because Mantis doesn't have any movement abilities, so the fact that you just slowed her down a little bit more is a little bit crazy, but I guess. Now for Raccoon. Rocket could use an enhancement to his healing capability, so they increase the healing of repair mode from 60 per second to 70 per second. So slight buff to Rocket right there. Kind of need that because I feel like he doesn't really get seen as much, but hey, let's keep it moving. And now we're going to go over the team up ability changes, and the first one's going to be for Hawkeye and Black Widow. And to further tone down Hawkeye's oppression, we'll be reducing his seasonal buff. They reduce Hawkeye's seasonal buff from 20% to 15%. Hopefully we don't see these one-shot kills anymore. For Hela, Thor, and Loki, much like Hawkeye, Hela's overwhelming power will be receiving a slight reduction. They reduce Hela's season boost from 20% to 15%. For Luna, Snow, and Namor, we'll be increasing the threat of Namor's frozen spawn. They increase frozen spawn damage from 25 to 27. The increased frozen spawn slowing effect applied to hit enemies from 25% to 30%, and the increased berserk state frozen spawn damage from 16 to 18. I really feel like this team up right here is about to go crazy with these buffs right here, man. So I think we're about to see a lot more Lunar Snow Namors as we go forward. Now for Rocket, Raccoon, the Punisher, and Winter Soldier, one of Rocket's best tools will be available more often. They reduce the cooldown of ammo intervention from 45 seconds to 40 seconds, man. Now for Scarlet Witch and Magneto, a bit underwhelming. The damage capability of this father-daughter team-up ability will be enhanced. They increase metallic fusion projectile damage from 55 to 60, and they increase metallic fusion spell field damage from 30 to 35. And now for the final team ability we need to talk about is for Thor, Storm, and Captain America, and we'll be enhancing the damage capability of Storm's side of this team up ability. And they reduce the cooldown of Charge Gale from 20 seconds to 15 seconds, and they increase the damage of Charge Gale from 50 to 55, man. So right here, the biggest changes I see with the team-ups is going to be to Lunar Snow and Namor, as I think that that's going to go crazy with all the increases. With the decrease to seasonal buffs on damage for Hela and Hawkeye, we might not see them as much anymore now that they aren't as overpowered due to their bonuses. Now, real quick, before we get up out of here for these patch notes, just want to say this. It's kind of crazy that Storm does not actually have a team-up with Black Panther, as they are married in the comics. But it is what it is. But this has been the latest of the changes for the team ups and all the characters in the game for the latest patch coming out tomorrow, man. So I hope y'all enjoyed that, man. But as always, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, become a supporter, and catch me streaming on Facebook Gaming and Twitch at That Boy ETV. Now, down in the link, down in the comments and in the description, I will have a link to the full patch notes for you to go check it out for yourself, man. But catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.